You wake up in the middle of the night and something feels off. Your arm is heavy and clumsy, like it fell asleep without you. You stand up, a little more wobbly than usual, and head to the bathroom. In the mirror, your smile doesn't look quite right on one side. A few words come out thick, like your tongue is tired. You've had a long day. Your blood pressure has always been a little high. You don't want to scare your spouse, you don't want to sit in an ER all night, and you definitely don't want to be dramatic over nothing. So you tell yourself the sentence that has quietly changed the rest of a lot of people's lives after 40. I'll just sleep it off and see how I feel in the morning. In this video, I want to show you why that one decision, waiting, is exactly how strokes steal independence from people in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, and how one simple word, BEFAST, can turn a terrifying moment into a life you still recognize. Before we talk about the checklist, let's slow down and answer something basic in plain English. What is actually happening in the brain during a stroke? A stroke is an injury to the brain. Most strokes happen because a blood vessel in your brain gets blocked by a clot, like a pipe suddenly clogged. Some happen because a blood vessel bursts and bleeds into the brain. In both cases, brain cells that depend on that blood flow for oxygen start to die. Those cells control things you care about in real life: your smile, your speech, your grip on a coffee mug, your balance when you step into the shower, your ability to find words when you talk to your kids, your partner, or your boss. If you're over 40, there's another layer. As we age, our blood vessels naturally get stiffer. High blood pressure becomes more common. Cholesterol, diabetes or prediabetes, smoking, extra weight, and sitting too much start to add up instead of being isolated phases. Heart rhythm problems like atrial fibrillation and irregular heartbeat show up more often and can send clots straight to the brain. When you picture your 70-year-old self, do you see someone walking into their own kitchen, making their own coffee, or someone needing help with basic things because one side of their body doesn't cooperate anymore? Here's the part that can feel scary, but I want you to hear it calmly. In a stroke, every minute without treatment means more brain cells lost. That's why you'll hear doctors say, "Time is brain." This isn't about panic, it's about urgency. Recognizing a stroke quickly isn't a nice to have. It's the difference between walking out of the hospital on your own or not walking out at all. And if you're over 40, stroke is no longer a faraway problem for old age. In the US, it's one of the big reasons people lose independence right in the middle of life, while they're still working, still raising kids, still taking care of aging parents. I also want you to know where this information is coming from. I'm not pulling this from random social media clips or scary headlines. I'm basing this on updated stroke education from major organizations like the American Heart Association, the American Stroke Association, the CDC, and large stroke centers in the United States. My job in this video is to turn all of that into calm, practical English you can actually use in real life, at 2 a.m., in your bathroom, when something feels wrong. If you're over 40 and you feel like stroke, heart disease, and blood pressure are suddenly on your radar in a way they weren't in your 20s, this channel is for you. Around here, we take the hospital language and turn it into tools you can use at home and with your doctor. So if that sounds like something you want more of, go ahead and subscribe. Not for me, but so you're not starting from zero every time a new health scare pops up. All right. You now know what a stroke is and why time matters so much after 40. But in the middle of the night, you don't have time to Google stroke symptoms and read through a list. You need one word you can remember when you're scared, half awake, or watching someone you love struggle to form a sentence. That word is BEFAST. This isn't a YouTube gimmick. It's the same memory tool used in stroke campaigns from major hospitals and the American Stroke Association. The problem is, most people see it once on a poster and never think about it again. I want it to live in your head at 2 a.m. Let's walk through it like you're standing next to someone you care about and something suddenly doesn't look right. The B is for balance. Someone stands up and suddenly can't walk straight. They're stumbling, grabbing the wall, or saying the room is spinning, and this hits out of nowhere. Not after drinks, not after a ride, just in the middle of a normal moment. Sudden trouble walking, sudden dizziness, or feeling like the floor tilted can be a stroke sign.
E is for eyes. You're watching TV or scrolling your phone, and suddenly one eye feels like a curtain just dropped. You lose part of your vision, you see double, or half the screen looks missing. You blink, rub your eyes, but it doesn't clear. Sudden loss of vision in one eye, double vision, or a dark patch in your sight is a red flag. F is for face. Ask the person or yourself to smile. If one side of the face doesn't move, droops, or the smile looks crooked, that is not something to ignore. In real life, it might be subtle, almost like a lazy expression. Subtle or obvious, one-sided drooping is a warning sign. A is for arm. Hold both arms out in front of you like you're carrying a tray. If one arm drifts down, feels heavy, or you just can't get it up, that's a problem. People often say, "My arm felt useless," or "I couldn't trust my hand to hold my coffee." If one arm suddenly won't cooperate, that is stroke until proven otherwise. And S is for speech. This can look like slurred words, like someone sounds drunk when they're not. It can also be words that don't make sense, or not being able to get simple words out. Sometimes people say, "The sentence was clear in my head, but I couldn't push it out of my mouth." Even if it snaps back after a minute, that doesn't make it safe. And T is for time. Time to call 911. Not time to lie down. Not time to see if it passes. Not time to drive yourself later. Time to call 911 now, while the brain cells at risk can still be saved. Here's a simple rule of thumb. If something is sudden, strange, and hits the face, arm, speech, vision, or balance, treat it as a stroke until a doctor proves it isn't. Now, let me turn this back to you. If you picture someone you love having one of these sudden changes, a crooked smile, slurred sentence, or useless arm, do you think you would actually call 911 right away, or is there a part of you that still leans toward, "Let's wait and see"? Does stroke still feel like something far away that happens to other people? Or is it already on your radar because of your family history, your blood pressure, your cholesterol, or something you've personally lived through? If you feel comfortable, tell me in the comments, not to get medical advice, but so I can understand what this risk looks like in real people's lives, not just in statistics. Knowing the signs is step 1. Step 2 is understanding why, after 40, the ground under your feet quietly changes. Let's build a quick mental checklist together. After 40, the main stroke risk factors tend to stack up. High blood pressure, diabetes or prediabetes, high cholesterol, smoking, extra weight, sitting most of the day, an irregular heartbeat like atrial fibrillation, and a family history of stroke or heart disease, each one adds a little more weight to the scale. If you're over 40 and you can check 2 or 3 of those boxes, maybe high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and a parent who had a stroke, stroke risk is not abstract anymore. It's something you and your doctor need to name out loud. Here's a quick mental score you can use right now. As I list these, quietly count how many apply to you. High blood pressure, diabetes or prediabetes, high cholesterol, smoking, extra weight, not moving much, atrial fibrillation or other irregular heartbeat, close family with stroke or heart disease. How many did you count? 0, 1, 3, more? I'm not asking to scare you. I'm asking because pretending the number is lower doesn't change your risk. Saying it out loud with your doctor does. In terms of action, let's keep this simple. 2 things you can start almost immediately. First, if you have blood pressure issues, stop guessing. Check it regularly at home or at a pharmacy and write the numbers down. Patterns tell the truth more than one good day. Second, if you already know you have atrial fibrillation or another irregular heartbeat, make sure you clearly understand what the stroke prevention plan is with your doctor. Are you on blood thinners? Are you taking them as prescribed? If you're not sure, that's your next appointment right there. At your next visit, instead of squeezing this into the last 30 seconds, go in with one direct question. Can we talk specifically about my stroke risk and what I can do about it? That one sentence can completely change the tone of the appointment. Knowing Be Fast and knowing how many risk boxes you personally check already puts you ahead of where most people are in their 40s and 50s. But there's still a huge trap people fall into, and it's one of the main reasons strokes are missed in time, even when the symptoms are obvious. That trap is the dangerous myths. Myth number 1: if it goes away, it's nothing. Maybe your speech suddenly turns to mush for a minute, or your arm feels weak and you can't quite hold your coffee, and then it gets better.
You tell yourself, well, it stopped, so it can't be serious, right? In stroke language, that came and went moment might be a TIA, a transient ischemic attack, often called a mini-stroke. I don't love that nickname because it makes people think mini means no big deal. A better way to think about it, a TIA is like the trailer before the full movie. For a few minutes, a clot blocks blood flow to part of your brain, and you see the preview: the face droop, the slurred words, the weak arm, the strange vision. Then the clot moves or dissolves and blood flow returns before permanent damage sets in. The symptoms go away, but the danger doesn't drop, it spikes. Stroke guidelines treat a TIA as an emergency because it means something in your system is unstable right now. It's your warning shot. So if your face droops and then snaps back, if your speech scrambles and then clears, or your arm goes weak and then wakes up again, that's not a sign to relax. That's a sign to get evaluated fast. Waiting to see if it happens again is like waiting for a second, bigger fire before you call the fire department. Myth number 2: it's just my blood pressure, I'll lie down. Most people over 40 have felt stressed, had a tension headache, or felt wiped out after a long day. That's real. But there's a big difference between I'm tired and have a mild headache and one side of my face suddenly stopped working and my words won't come out right. Blood pressure can cause headaches, yes, but sudden face drooping, slurred speech, vision changes, arm weakness, or balance problems are brain signs, not just stress signs. If you're telling yourself, my pressure is probably high, I'll just lie down, while one side of your body isn't behaving, you're betting your independence on a guess. Lying down doesn't open a blocked blood vessel in your brain. Myth number 3 is the quietest and maybe the most dangerous. I don't want to bother anyone, I'll wait. You don't want to wake your spouse. You don't want to waste an ambulance. You don't want to sit in an ER. So you think, if it's still weird in the morning, then I'll go. But strokes love that kind of politeness. There are so many versions of the same story. Someone has a crooked smile and thick speech at 9 p.m., doesn't want to be a burden, decides to give it the night. And by the time they arrive at the hospital, some of the most powerful treatments are no longer an option because too many hours have passed. They survive, but they don't walk, talk, or think the way they used to. Then there's the other story. Same symptoms, same fear, but someone in the room says, no, we're not gambling with your brain, we're calling 911. The ambulance team activates a stroke alert, gets them to a hospital that treats strokes, and because they arrived fast, doctors have options: clot-busting medication, sometimes procedures to pull clots out, and that person walks out still looking like themselves. Both stories start with, I didn't want to make a fuss. they end very differently based on one decision. When you picture those two people, the one who waited and the one who went in, which one are you more likely to be, honestly, based on your personality today? You don't have to answer out loud, but that honest answer matters. Because stroke education isn't just about knowing be fast. It's about knowing yourself well enough to plan around your own habits, especially the "I'll be fine, I don't want to bother anyone" habit. Have you ever had a moment where your face, your speech, or your balance felt off and you just waited to see if it would pass? If you feel comfortable, leave a short comment like, "Yes, this happened to me," or "This happened to someone I love." It helps other people realize they're not the only ones who hesitated. And sometimes that's exactly what pushes someone to call 911 next time. So now we've put the pieces on the table. You know what a stroke is. You know how to spot it with Be Fast. You know why your risk changes after 40. And you know the myths that talk people out of getting help in time. The last missing piece is the most practical one. In that exact moment when something feels wrong, crooked smile, weird speech, heavy arm, strange vision, what do you actually do, step by step? Because in a real emergency, you don't rise to the level of what you know. You fall to the level of what you've practiced, even if that practice is just walking through it in your head right now. Picture that moment again. Crooked smile in the mirror, arm that won't cooperate, words that feel thick or tangled. You've learned Be Fast. Now what? Step 1. Recognize Be Fast and treat it as a stroke until proven otherwise. One sign is enough to act. You do not wait for all of them to line up.
Sudden trouble with balance, sudden change in your eyes, a drooping face, a weak arm, strange speech. Any one of those, especially in someone over 40, is a 911 moment. Step 2. Call 911 immediately. Don't drive yourself. When you call 911, the dispatcher can activate a stroke protocol. The ambulance crew is already thinking stroke before they reach you, and they can take you to a hospital prepared to treat strokes. If you get worse in the car with a family member driving, there's nothing they can do. In an ambulance, they can start checking vitals, blood sugar, and prepare the hospital while you're on the way. Step 3. Note the exact time symptoms started. Doctors care about the last known well time, the last moment you were completely normal. It might be, she was fine at 6:45 p.m., and the face droop started at 7:10. That time helps the team decide which treatments are still safe. Write it down, take a photo of a clock, or text it to yourself. In stress, memory gets fuzzy. Written time does not. Step 4. Don't give aspirin on your own. Aspirin can help in some clot-type strokes, but some strokes are caused by bleeding in the brain. If you give aspirin to someone with a bleeding stroke, you can make things worse. Let the hospital team decide what's safe after brain imaging. Step 5. Bring a list of medications and conditions. If you can, bring a written list or a photo on your phone that includes high blood pressure, diabetes, atrial fibrillation or other heart rhythm problems, any past strokes or heart attacks, and all your medications, especially blood thinners. In a stroke situation, that information can save precious minutes. Here's a sentence you can practice right now for 911 or the ER. Sudden face drooping and slurred speech starting at 7:10 p.m. History of high blood pressure and atrial fibrillation. That simple sentence tells the team 3 key things: the symptoms, the timing, and the risk factors. If you can remember Be Fast and those 3 core actions, call 911, note the time, bring the meds list, you are already changing the ending of the story for yourself or someone you love. Now think about this. Who in your life needs to know this plan besides you? A partner? A teenage kid? An aging parent?
A friend you walk with? Whose face are you picturing when you think, "I hope they would call 911 for me"? This is not meant to be a secret skill. It's something to talk about at the dinner table or in your group chat. Hey, if my speech ever suddenly sounds weird or my face looks crooked, don't ask me if I'm okay. Just call 911. Before we wrap up, I need to say this clearly. I am not a doctor. This video is for education, not for diagnosis, not for treatment, and not for emergency instructions specific to your situation. If you think you or someone near you might be having a stroke, don't wait. Don't self-diagnose. Call 911 or your local emergency number right away, and always follow the guidance of your own physician or emergency team. Everything we've talked about is based on current stroke education and public guidance from organizations like the American Heart Association, the American Stroke Association, the CDC, and major stroke centers in the U.S. Medicine does evolve. When recommendations change, responsible education changes with them. But right now, knowing be fast, calling 911 quickly, and refusing to sleep it off are some of the most powerful, evidence-based things you can do for yourself and the people you love. After 40, you can't control everything inside your blood vessels. Genetics, aging, and life all play a role. But you can control how fast you recognize trouble and how fast you ask for help. Strokes don't just steal years at the end of life. They can steal speech, independence, work, hobbies, and the little everyday things that make your life feel like it's yours. Knowing be fast and refusing to sleep it off is one of the most powerful gifts you can give yourself and the people around you. If this video helped you feel even a little more prepared, don't just click away and forget it. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the next episodes in this stroke series. We're going to talk about so-called mini strokes, blood pressure, and how to actually talk to your doctor without freezing or downplaying your symptoms. And in the comments, tell me one thing you're going to pay more attention to after today. Is it your blood pressure, your weird symptoms, or how quickly you'd call for help? In the next video, we're going to dive into the mini stroke, the TIA, that warning shot where the symptoms disappear, but the danger level goes up, not down. If you've ever had a strange episode that went away and someone told you it's probably nothing, you're not going to want to miss that one.